You may go, let's say you may go to Shippensburg University or something, you know. CCP can still be beneficial to you, like when you come home in the summer, right? You know, probably 60% of the students who are taking summer courses with us, and summer school and college is not a bad thing. Not like high school. You know, sometimes if you got to go to summer school so you can get promoted or so you can graduate. Well, a lot of students use summer school as a way to kind of get ahead or just to kind of keep even so they don't take on too much of a workload during the fall and the spring semester. So, you know, even if you don't enroll in CCP as a full-time student, you can also still, you know, we can still be a benefit to you. Actually, you know, once you graduate and go on to another college or university, like I said, we have a lot of students who start out, you know, or excuse me, who take advantage of opportunities at CCP during the summertime. We call them guest students, and, you know, they're saving money, but they're still getting the same credit as they would if they took that class at the university or college that they attend full time. So no, that link is not, you know, holding you to anything. You know, you're not bound to anything. Again, you're just getting on our mailing list, but also it's capturing who was a part of this presentation today. All right. So with that being said, I guess I'll just jump into everything. So first and foremost, you know, good afternoon, everyone. Hope everybody's had a good weekend. My name's Chris Lewis. I am from Community College of Philadelphia's Office of Admissions. But I kind of like to say I can represent a lot of the parts of the college because I do not only do admissions, you know, I also help out with a lot of other different initiatives. So today, we're going to talk about opportunities at CCP. Again, I like to fashion us as the college of the city because probably 85 to 90% of our student population are from Philadelphia. We're a commuter school, so we don't have dorms where you can live, you know, on campus. But I'm also going to show you how, you know, you can start out at CCP and then still have an on-campus living experience after 2 years, you know, by transferring to a 4-year university and, you know, pursuing a bachelor's degree, okay? So CCP, I like to say we're the college of the city. You know, our mission and our focus is the city of Philadelphia, unlike schools like Temple, LaSalle, or Drexel. You know, they have they have students from all over the country, even some other parts of the world. The majority of our students are Philadelphia residents, but we also do have international students too as well. I think last count, we had probably about 200 plus international students from a variety of different countries all around the world that are studying at CCP. Again, using that as a foundation to then move on to a 4-year school and pursue a bachelor's degree or even beyond, okay? We're all throughout the city. We're in, you know, 4 different areas of the city. We're in the far northeast, not too far from the mall. So if you live all the way up in the far northeast section of the city, you can take advantage of taking courses at our northeast location for convenience. We offer a lot of our healthcare and medical programs at that location. We're also in the northwest section of the city on Broad and Godfrey. Broad and Godfrey is probably about 3 or 4 blocks north of Broad and Olney, where Girls High and Central is. So if you live in that Mount Airy, West Oak Lane section of the city, excuse me, you can take courses at that location. Actually, that's where I'm physically located. That's where my office is. We're also in West Philadelphia on 47th and Chestnut, but we're expanding. Where if you are in the live in the West Philly area and you've you know, ridden by that way, like especially 46 and Market, which is an L stop, you'll see construction going on. Our West Regional Center is is getting a makeover. So that's going to be like our new tech center, but also, you know, offer, you know, some of the trade type programs that we also offer too. Like currently right now, prior to this makeover, that's where we housed our automotive technology program anyway. So that program's getting expanded, and we're also adding some other technical programs and some other trade type programs. So probably 2022, sometime, I would say spring 2022, that building, you should probably start to see it take shape, and I would probably anticipate, it opening to, students and the public. I would probably say in the summer of 2022, because even though the pandemics happened, construction was still going on, maybe not as fast as it normally would have been, but so that's going to be a whole new center, tech center, and like I said, offer some of our trade type programs as well. And then the main campus downtown, 17th and Spring Garden. Most times when people think of CCP, this is what they're thinking of. Okay, this is the main campus. This is, right up the street from Ben Franklin High School, right across the street from Masterman. So we're centrally located right on 17th and Spring Garden. This is where we offer the majority of our programs. This is where the majority of our students are taking courses. This is where our gym is. This is where a lot of student activities and things of that is. So in most instances, you will probably have classes on at this campus. But again, you can take classes at our neighborhood site. And I'll say this, because we've all been virtual, probably if we didn't have this pandemic, we would probably be in front of each other right now physically, either you coming and visit me on campus or me coming to visit you at your location. We do plan on being back with in-person instruction in September. So again, we offer, we're still going to offer, the online options, the synchronous, which is, sort of in the format that we're in right now, where you'll meet, have to log on, at different times throughout the week, or the asynchronous option where, it's just totally online. And then we have a combination of both. But we will have some in-person instruction. Fingers crossed that this, Delta variant doesn't keep getting out of control and things got to get shut down again. But, hopefully we'll get back to somewhat, what we thought of as normal before. So we do offer the online options too as well. And we offer virtual student services too as well. Okay, so let's get into what we offer academically and what students can study. CCP is a two-year school. Okay, so we do the associate's degree. The associate's degree can put you on two paths. One, to go right out into the workforce. A lot of our programs are designed to get you prepared to go right and start earning some income. But the associate's degree can also prepare you to further your education at a four-year school. I'm going to talk about how you can still have that on-campus living experience, but still attend CCP and save some money first. So let's get into some of the different programs that we have, okay? So education and human services, I like to call this the helping skills. This is where you want to work with people, okay? Our behavioral health and human services program, most times when students graduate with that, they'll transfer to a school into a social work program, into a bachelor's degree. Education, obviously, is getting into teaching, okay, and working with children. But, we have it at every level, from early childhood all the way up through secondary education, all right? So if you studied any of these programs, you're not going to stop at CCP, okay? These are what we call transfer programs, because in order for you to get into entry level, positions in most of these areas, you have to have at least a bachelor's degree. So, if you're going to get into any of these programs, you're not stopping at CCP, okay? Business, entrepreneurship, and law. Again, we have a lot of people, have a lot of great ideas and are starting their own businesses. So, we can help support that. We actually have an entrepreneurship certificate, but you can see we do accounting, business, criminal justice, digital forensics, more technology we're working with, we're using it in a variety of different areas, even in law enforcement. Our culinary arts program is one of our bigger programs. We just added tourism and hospitality management, as a subset of that about 2 years ago. So if you want to get into, again, business, now, if you're going to go into accounting, yes, you're not going to stop at CCP. That's a transfer program. I know I'm not going to hire an accountant with just an associate's degree, right? So at least you got to have the bachelor's degree, all right? Same thing with business, but again, some of you may be entrepreneurs. And a lot of times, you can maybe get those introductory business classes, maybe do one of our certificates, that can help launch, whatever business it is that you're trying to get off. So, but again, a variety of different areas for you to choose from. Healthcare, these are probably some of our more popular programs. The healthcare field's been very popular lately. So these are programs that are going to get you prepared to either go right into work, or, you can still further your education and go to higher levels, So as you see, the healthcare studies program, that's our program that's going to prepare you to work in a healthcare facility or environment, an administrative position, or maybe, direct patient care. All right. When the ones you see select programs right there, like, so for instance, a lot of students, ask about nursing, right? So nursing is one of our, what we call select programs. So even though you may apply to CCP and use nursing, as your interest, you wouldn't go right into the nursing program until you met the requirements. So you would be in a healthcare studies program, taking the courses that would get you prepared to be accepted into one of these select programs, like dental hygiene, right? You graduate with that program, with that degree, you can go right out to work, making about $50,000, $60,000 a year as a dental hygienist in an office. Okay, diagnostic medical imaging. That's when you're still working with people. That's our radiology. Well, it's more than radiology, because you're going to get the CT scan, the X-ray, the MRI. You're going to get all of that technology training. Okay, so that's working with people, but maybe not direct as a nurse, drawing blood or, administering meds and things of that nature, but you're working in a healthcare environment. Health services management, more of an administrative role, okay, in a healthcare environment. Medical lab tech, that's the phlebotomist. You guys ever went to the doctor and they drew your blood? Sometimes, it's not the best thing in the world. Somebody sticking a needle in you, but they're drawing your blood, right, to do tests and things of that nature, to diagnose maybe health issues and just make sure how your overall health is, all right? But nursing, I get a lot of questions about nursing. Our nursing program is an RN program. That's a registered nurse. And most times that can get you, hired, in most medical facilities. But I'll say this, over the last, I'm going to probably say 15 years or so, that industry's kind of changed. So if you want to work in a hospital, as a nurse, most of the major hospitals now are hiring what they call the BSNs. And that's the Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. So that's the 4-year nursing degree, okay? Any major hospital, Temple, Einstein, the big hospitals in the city, Jefferson, most of the nurses that you're going to see on these floors now, you'll see on their badge, it says BSN, not just RN, okay? So, if you want to go in that field, yes, having an RN from community college can get you into the workforce and probably make a pretty good salary. But if you want to work in certain levels, more than likely you're going to get the 4-year degree. So that's the medical and healthcare stuff. Liberal arts and communications, again, a variety of different things. Liberal arts sort of is like our undecided major. Sometimes students may not know what they want to do, and liberal arts is kind of designed to, have you, test out a variety of different fields or majors, to hopefully figure out maybe, what it is that you want to major in. But ultimately, you can also get an associate's degree in liberal arts. There are some 4-year colleges that are known as liberal arts colleges. Okay, so, but hopefully what I try to, advise students on is really try to think of a major to try to nail something in, because most times, you want to kind of have, a designated field that you want to look to go into. But if not, again, liberal arts is a degree that'll allow you to kind of take a variety of different things, hopefully for you to kind of figure it out. All right. And then science and technology. This is what we've been relying on, guys, for the past 18 months or more, right? The sciences, they talk about vaccines, they talk about this, they talk about all this research, right? That's the science, okay? Our biology program, you know, that's going to get you prepared to go into any pre-med or pre-professional medical program. Our chemistry program, you know, that's going to get you into research programs, okay? So again, our science program is going to prepare you to take all those entry-level science courses for you to transfer to a 4-year pre-professional program, whether it's veterinary science, pre-med, you know, pharmacy, whatever it is, you have it. Biology and chemistry will prepare you to go on those tracks. Computer science, what can I say? Technology has been saving us, right? That's how we're connected right now. And this technology is just going to continue to grow. So our computer science, you know, get you prepared, you know, for networking, you know, programming, you know, any variety of different ways in the computer science. And it's also going to get you prepared to transfer to a 4-year computer science program, okay? I always like talking to students about cybersecurity. You know, with us relying on technology so much, guys, right? Guess what? There's people out here trying to steal your information. Okay, that's why they say change your passwords every, you know, so often, right? Because, you know, there are people online who can easily get your information, and they do it, you know, it's so, you know, sometimes you might click on a link thinking it's an innocent link, and next thing you know, you've exposed all your information. So cybersecurity is also growing. And then our engineering program is going to get you prepared to transfer to any engineering program in a 4-year school, mechanical, electrical, civil, whatever it may be. You'll get the foundation with doing our engineering program, okay? So again, guys, we're giving you the foundation to kind of, you know, start your education path onto your careers. And, you know, I talked about, you know, doing 2 years at CCP and then transfer, right? So we have something called dual admissions. And dual admissions says this: come to CCP, do 2 years, graduate from CCP, and then transfer to one of our partner schools, just a sample of what you see here on the screen. And when you transfer, guys, you're transferring as a junior, because the credits that you earned your freshman year at CCP, your second year, your sophomore year at CCP, and then you graduate with a credential, right? Most students that go to the 4-year school, after their second year, they're just a junior. Well, yes, you'll be a junior, but you'll also have a credential. You can update your resume. Hey, I have an associate's of science in, you know, biology. You know, I have an associate's of, you know, arts in business, right? That's a credential that makes you more marketable. But when you transfer to one of these schools, you'll be transferring in with the junior status, okay? So that means when you get to Temple, you're a junior. You don't have to spend 4 years at Temple, right? You're going to do your junior year and your senior year at Temple, but you wouldn't have paid Temple's tuition for 4 years. You only paid it for 2, and you saved a lot of money your first 2 years at CCP. But when I talk about this new initiative, saving a lot of money is going to really, you know, make that S a bigger savings, okay? So I also want to stress that these are not the only schools that you can transfer to. You can transfer to wherever it is you want to. We actually have agreements with more schools than this. Obviously, I didn't want to flood the flyer, right? But you can go wherever you want. We have students that transfer everywhere, you know, and I'll just tell this story again. A couple of years ago, we had a gentleman named Hazim Hardiman, who, you know, was a CCP student, graduated from CCP, transferred to Temple, finished up at Temple really well. He was an average high school student. You know, Hazim became a Rhodes Scholar. If any of you don't know what a Rhodes Scholar is, that's probably one of the most prestigious academic awards that you can get. You know, some former Rhodes Scholars, guys, were presidents. So we had a Rhodes Scholar who went to, you know, England to study, you know, under this scholarship. So again, you can go wherever it is that you want. Whatever your academic background takes you, you can go to HBCUs, you know, you can transfer to whatever it is that you want. But obviously, we have relationships with the local partners because they're right here in our backyard, okay? So I'm gonna skip over that. I don't know how many of you are seniors on here, or, you know, maybe a senior, but our application process is really simple. So I'm gonna just kind of go through this real quick. You know, all you got to do is just go to our website, ccp.edu, there's a link right in the top right-hand corner that says apply. Click on that link. It's going to ask you to create an account. As you're creating that account, you're actually filling in part of the application. You know, go ahead and submit the rest of the application. We're not asking you for an essay. We're not asking you for recommendation or reference letters. And we're definitely not asking you for money, okay? It's a very simple application. Fill it out, then we'll start to communicate with you. And I'm gonna skip over this real quick, but I wanna get to this too, because this is a change. This is a change as a result of COVID. Prior to COVID, well, I usually say BC, before COVID, the majority of the students who probably applied to CCP took our placement test, right? Our placement test was an assessment of your reading, your writing, and your math. But obviously when COVID kicked in, we couldn't do testing, you know, in person. So we came up with a new placement policy. So now what we're asking students to do is to submit their high school transcripts, okay? And if your final high school transcript GPA, if your final GPA on your transcript is at least a 2.75 or higher, then that means you don't have to take our placement test, okay? That's gonna get you admission to CCP, okay? If it was 2.74 or lower, yes, we're gonna get you set up then to take our placement test because we now have a virtual option. And since things have gotten better with COVID, we're offering limited in-person testing too, okay? So we can accommodate you with that, all right? But we're really asking you to get your high school transcript in first. And then if you took the SATs, right, got a 510 or higher in math, 560 or higher, it's gonna say evidence-based reading on your SAT score sheet. It won't say English. So a 560 or higher in evidence-based reading, then, you know, send us in a copy of your SAT score sheet. You're gonna get a waiver from the test. Same thing with the ACT, 21 or higher in English or 17 or higher in math, all right? So this is a big change. This is a big change from how we used to do things prior to COVID. So this is what we're asking. This is our policy now. We're gonna ask you for your high school transcript up front. So some of you, you know, may not even have to do any placement testing. And then after that, you register for classes, you get with an advisor, and then they help you out based off your interest in your placement level, and then they get you registered for class, okay? Also, I'm gonna talk about this kind of quick too, because there's something called FAFSA, free application for federal student aid. So if you got any juniors or seniors on the line, seniors, the FAFSA for you, if you're gonna be a senior starting in September, then the FAFSA, the financial aid application for you, which is the 2022-2023, that's gonna become available online on October 1st, okay? It's really important because they pushed that date up, guys. Usually the financial aid application used to come out on January 1st, but they pushed that date up. So now that application is available October 1st. But when you do the FAFSA, you're applying for federal aid, you're applying for state aid, and then some schools have institutional aid, scholarships, things of that nature, endowments, and then some schools have payment plans like we do too as well. But I'm gonna talk about this one thing because a lot of students who enroll in CCP tend to end up qualifying for this, what we call Pell Grant, okay? And when you do the FAFSA, again, FAFSA is free application for federal student aid. When you do this, when you do the application, you're gonna be considered for this federal grant. This is the maximum amount. Actually, I think it's a little bit more that students got if they qualified for this full amount of this grant for the 2021-2022 year, which we're just about to come up on, right? Well, to go to CCP, again, full time, and that number that you see right there, that $5,368, that's what it is for a full-time student on a per year basis to attend community college. Also like to show you guys, this is a sample of what a full-time schedule in college looks like. I don't care what college you go to, okay? Most of the classes that you're gonna take at any college are gonna be worth 3 credits. Some will be 4, like you see that science class. The reason why that's a 4-credit class is because there's a lab attached with it, right? There's something extra that you have to do outside of the lecture, okay? So again, 12 credits in the fall, similar 12 credits in the spring. You know, that right there can get you, that's what it would cost you if you're a Philadelphia resident, or maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, depending on what your major is and what classes you're taking, right? But potentially that Pell Grant can help cover that, okay? But let me tell you about this new initiative. And this new initiative, and I'm just excited to tell anybody who want to listen. Even if they don't want to listen, I'm still telling them about it, okay? This is a new initiative called the Octavius Catto Scholarship, okay? If you guys don't know, Octavius Catto was a pioneer in Philadelphia. He fought for the rights of, you know, African-American people to be able to vote, you know, and have rights way back in 1871, okay? He died on South Street, guys. He got killed on South Street, you know, from like, you know, folks who did not want Black folks to vote. You know, he helped, you know, desegregate. Back then it was called the Philadelphia Trolley Works, is what we know is called SEPTA today, okay? So this gentleman was doing a lot of things that we still talk about and fight about to this day, right? Some of the same topics and issues. But this is a new initiative between the city and CCP, okay? So this is a scholarship for first-time students. Now, if all of you on this line, outside of, you know, the adults on the line, if all of you on this line are still in high school and you are from Philadelphia, okay, and after high school, you decide to come to CCP, you will be a first-time college student, right? I already just showed you what a full-time student looks like, okay? Remember the slide before, 12 credits or more, so we want you to be a full-time student. So remember, I kept saying CCP is a 2-year school, but this scholarship is gonna support you up to 3 years, okay? So even if it takes you a little bit longer, and hey, guess what? That happens, all right? Ask any of the adults on the line that's been to college and seen and helped students with that. Life happens sometimes. Sometimes you don't finish in 2 years or 4 years. It may take you 2.5, or it may take you 3. What matters is that you finish, right? And to help make sure that you finish, and this is what I think this is different from most scholarships. Yes, most scholarships are going to support you financially with tuition, but this one has its own dedicated success coaches, academic advisors, all right? It has its own built-in support system to help you be successful while you're on campus. That's what I think makes this different from most scholarships. Yes, you can write for the Coca-Cola scholarship and they can give you $5,000, right? But they may not give you that support that you need on campus, okay, to help you get through some of the ups and downs. So that those success coaches and those advisors, they're gonna be side by side with you. And guess what? You're still gonna have access to all the other resources that students have at CCP too, but you're also gonna have these dedicated resources, okay? And you're gonna get a stipend for food. Listen, we trying to eliminate all the excuses. All right, we know you can't study if your stomach is growling, right? So we're gonna give you a stipend for food once a month. We're gonna give you a stipend for transportation, right? Can't say, oh, I didn't have car fare to get on the bus to get to class. We're gonna help you out with that, right? And then I don't know how many of you know this, but you guys probably didn't buy textbooks throughout high school. Shoot, throughout 1st through 12th grade, you didn't buy textbooks. Yeah, maybe your mom and dad had you buy you a Trapper Keeper, right? But you didn't have to buy a book for biology. You didn't have to buy a book for math. You didn't have to buy a book for chemistry, for psychology. Well, in college, another expense that you'll have is you're gonna have to purchase textbooks. And that's another stipend that you're gonna get from the scholarship, okay? So this is designed for Philadelphians, first timers. Every high school student that's on this line, you would be eligible for this scholarship coming up, okay? Again, very simple. All you have to do is graduate from a Philadelphia high school. Okay, that could be public, charter, private, parochial. If you're in cyber school, if you're homeschooled, you can still be eligible for it. Okay, 10 CCP. I showed you what a full-time student looks like, right? Be from Philadelphia. Pretty sure most of you are. You know, if you're not, you got to be living in the city for at least 12 consecutive months to be a resident. Do the FAFSA application. Well, you should do that anyway, because the FAFSA is a resource to potentially help offset some of the financial costs for you, right? So outside of scholarships, the FAFSA is something that you should do as a part of your college admissions process anyway, to any college or university, okay? And then enter the college level, enter college ready or one level below. Remember when I showed you guys the placement, talking about now we want your high school transcripts? Well, if your GPA is at least 2.75 to I think 2.77, you'll at least come in at that one level below college ready. The higher your GPA is, the higher placement that you'll get. All right. But listen, look at the requirements, everybody. I didn't ask you for an essay, right? I didn't ask you to say, hey, you know, can you ask Ms. Blackston for a recommendation letter, right? I didn't ask for that, right? Hey, you got to have at least a 3.5 GP. Nope, we didn't say that, right? All you got to do is graduate from a Philly high school, be from Philly, enroll in CCP full-time, do your FAFSA, and get on track to being debt-free for your first 2 years, to being debt-free, to getting 60 plus college credits that you can transfer to a wide variety of other colleges and universities. Again, how to apply, very simple. Just do the CCP application. When you do the application, we're gonna ask you what's your student type. We're gonna give you definitions, new, first time, never been to college before. Yep, that's it. So all those applications that come in with a new designation, you know, we're gonna comb through those and then send out information to the students that'll be eligible for this scholarship. So very simple, okay? Here's another potential scholarship for students, right? It's called the 50th Anniversary Promise Scholarship. Now, I know it says students graduate in 2021. That's okay, I'll change that to 2022 because it's every year, but kind of similar, okay? Where, you know, being from Philadelphia, you know, graduate from Philadelphia high school, file your FAFSA, you know, by June 1st, which you should have really done, because remember I said the FAFSA opens up in October, okay? So similar placement stuff. So here's another opportunity, guys. So what I'm trying to say to you is, you know, that, you know, you can use CCP as that foundation, okay, where you can save a lot of money and then still be able to graduate with a bachelor's degree, you know, or even higher, you know, a master's degree, a law degree, a medical degree. But guess what? Saving on these first two years is very significant. You know, it's a big difference from paying, you know, $60,000 as opposed to $30,000, right? You know, because $60,000 may have you in student loans 10 more years than you need to be. I mean, I'm just trying to tell you how real life goes, guys. All right. We do have athletics. Again, fingers crossed that this Delta variant doesn't continue to grow and we can get our athletic teams back on the court. We do participate in what's called the NJCAA, which is the National Junior College Athletic Association. So for 2-year schools out the NCAA, so you can compete. We do have a little esports that actually hopefully gets back off the ground, because this is something that was starting to get off the ground prior to the pandemic. So, you know, there are a lot of colleges and universities that offer esports. You know, they actually have esports programs. And then for you juniors, sophomores, freshmen even, you have the opportunity to start earning some college credit now. We have 2 opportunities, one called Advance at College. That's for rising juniors and seniors, okay? You could take our test. If you demonstrate that you can handle college level work, you can start taking college classes right now, okay? And start earning some college credit that you can say, hey, I got 9 credits, which is the equivalent of 3 classes. I got 9 credits from CCP that I took in high school, but you may end up going to Kutztown. Well, guess what? Those 9 credits are going to work for you at Kutztown as long as you got a C or better in it, because they'll transfer to Kutztown. Okay. We also have a summer program for 9th through 12th graders called the ACE program. This only runs for 1 month. We offer like 15 to 20 different courses, different options. So you choose. We usually offer something in business, technology, psychology, some hands-on stuff. So if you say, hey, I want to do that psychology class, as long as you get a grade of a C or better in it, you're going to earn 3 college credits. Okay, so we have opportunities for you right now. For that advance at college, also, guys, we have something called early scholars. So if you apply to that program, that could potentially be free for you too, because early scholars is a grant that'll pay for the class for you. Okay, so I'm trying to get you prepared financially for business, because that's real, everybody. Okay, this is not just on your parents. This whole college admissions process, you're a part of this. You just don't say, hey, I want to go to Howard University, so I just go live on campus at an HBCU. You got to take in everything, okay? Because this is a process. So you just don't put everything on your parents. You got to be a part of this too, okay? And we got a bunch of different clubs and organizations. I would say this, getting involved is really important. I think that's a really part of the college experience. And we have over 40 different clubs and organizations on our campus. There's always something going on. I mean, prior to this pandemic, there was always something going on our campus, whether it was an internal organization or an external organization too as well. I'm pretty sure most of you have probably been on our campus maybe for an event or something to that nature. So you can get involved, and we encourage you to get involved, because I think it just makes you a little more well-rounded person. Okay, when you marry the two. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. Very simple. I'm gonna just wrap it up again. We're a 2-year school. We're gonna save you a lot of money. We have a lot of academic options. Don't fall into this false narrative. If you hear people say, oh, you can't go nowhere else, you can go to see that. That is so far from the truth. Trust me. Some of our faculty also teach at Temple, LaSalle, and Drexel. And guess what? Those students that are getting that instruction are paying 5 and 6 more times for the same instruction that you are getting. Okay. Again, we offer a wide variety of different programs, everybody, from 9th grade on. Guys, you don't wait till you become a senior to say, hey, okay, now I'm gonna start this college stuff. I'm gonna start looking for this scholarship. No, you start today if it hasn't started already. Okay, today is the start day. So hopefully maybe I can be the catalyst for you to start looking up more information. Okay, some of you may want to go away to school. I highly encourage now. Again, hopefully this COVID stuff gets under control so you can get to start visiting physically, going in and doing physical campus visits, right? Especially if you're going to go away to school. You want to go see what that dorm room look like, right? You want to go in the cafeteria and taste that food, okay? Because this is where you're potentially going to be living for the next 4 years, all right? So that's really important. So guys, if you haven't thought about or started this college process now, or I'll just even say, what am I going to do after high school, to kick off my career? Some of you may take different tracks and maybe go into the military or maybe go into work, right? But let's start thinking about that now and not wait until, the last minute, so to speak. And then you're scrambling, trying to figure out what it is, because once graduation comes and the balloons, start to flutter away, real life kicks in, okay? So, but we're here for you, again, I'm more than happy at any point in time. Hopefully, we get back open, again, I like having you guys come to see us so you can see what we physically look like, see everything that's going on. So yes, thank you very much for joining today, everybody who signed on. Hopefully you learned a little bit of new information and maybe have a different perspective about community college that you may have had. So again, thank you. Click on the link, fill out the form. Again, it doesn't commit you to anything. All right. I'm not holding you hostage on anything. It's just, again, you'll get on our mailing list and we'll begin to share information with you. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. That's it for me. I got some time. If anybody got any questions, you know, I'll hang around and answer some questions too as well.
I put the link back in the chat as you guys prepare your questions. I just wanted to say thank you. First of all, always a great presentation. I learned something new about CCP every time you come. And it's very exciting it's really a treasure in our city that a lot of people take for granted, don't know about. And we've heard a lot of the people come in our career presentation saying, like, one thing they wish they had done differently when it comes to school is start out 1 to 2 years at CCP and cut back on some of that student loan money that they're now paying back into adulthood. So that is definitely one of the benefits, but you can see from the presentation, there's more benefits to CCP than just saving money, and also opportunity to get connected while you're in high school is amazing. Please take advantage of those opportunities as well, because that saves even additional money and gives you more support and preparation. So the transition is not as hard, not as scary. So I wanted to say that I am a CCP alumnus, and I graduated from CCP with my associate's degree. I went back to school to CCP when I was 40. Decided I wanted to become a teacher, and I went to CCP, and I was there. I did 2 years, got my associate's degree, got involved in dual enrollment. They had that at the time. They had an ambassador's program, was one of the organizations I got involved with, and got a full scholarship to Drexel, and a lot of support. Life happened and I didn't finish at Drexel, unfortunately. I almost made it through, but it was something that was out of my control. However, I value the education. Like he said, that credential of having that associate's degree was so important, because say I had gone to a four-year college at that time, and then I had to come out at the same time that I did, which was in my senior year at Drexel. I was just 9 or 12 credits shy of my bachelor's, and I had to come out because of life stuff. When I came out, if I had been at a four-year college, I just wouldn't have had a credential. I just would have been a senior that couldn't finish school. But because I had gone to CCP, gotten my associate's degree, when I came out, now I have not just some college, but I have an associate's degree, which it means a lot in the workforce, because that tells people certain things. Certain assumptions are made because you have a credential. You're teachable, you're trainable. There's some things that they know you've had English, they know you've had some math, they know you've had some basic courses. So those kind of things make you more employable, more marketable. So that's something to think about too. Like he said, that was a key thing. I don't think I've heard that stressed a lot in terms of having that credential at that 2-year point, not necessarily having to wait until you finish a 4-year program. Because like we know, there's things out of our control that happen that may delay or prevent you from finishing that 4-year program as planned. And I also want to say, when I went to Drexel, I did get a 4-year scholarship. I did say that, or a 2-year. I was going 2 years at CCP and 2 years, and I came out owing like very little money when I came out of Drexel. So keep that in mind as well. One question I had, one thing that we run into with kids, and this is real, a lot of students use college, going away to college as a way to get out of the house. It's like, I can't wait. And so CCP is not an option on a lot of kids' radar, because they don't see that as a way of getting out of the house. I still have to commute. I still have to live at home. So can you address that a little bit, Chris, if you can?
Yeah. So I'm going to say this. If you're using college as a way to get out of the house, guess what? It's going to get you back inside the house just as quick. Okay. And then CCP may not have been the ideal landing space for you. Then CCP will become a landing space for you, right? Because in most instances, you're focused on just getting out of the house, right? You're not just focused on okay, no, I'm going into this situation to start preparing for life, right? And in the process, yes, I'll grow as an individual. I can have some fun. I'll maybe have some ups and downs, but no, your thought is just getting out of the house, right? I say this to any student. Sometimes some students aren't ready to go away right after high school, okay? And the maturity level is just not there. And I'm saying the maturity level from the sense of responsibility, right? Because now when you're away, mom or auntie or grandmom, whoever it may be, is not, knocking on your door. Hey, get up, right? Hey, ain't you supposed to be doing it? Right? You don't have that in your face accountability that you have at home, right? And now you're away. So it's like, oh, okay, I got 8 o'clock class. But I'm gonna sleep through it. I'll be all right, And then the next thing, you're not managing your time. One of the biggest things to success with the transition from from high school to higher education is students being able to manage your time. I was a victim of it. I was, I didn't know. It's like, hey, okay, I'm going to school now. I only got class on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But that don't mean Tuesday and Thursday are vacation days. But that's how a lot of students look at that, right? Every student on this line, your time is managed for you right now and already. Monday through Friday, you're going to the class, right? From 8 o'clock to 3. First, second, third, fourth, lunch, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth period, go home. That's Monday through Friday. In college, your schedule may be flexible. It may not be like that. Your first class, you may have class on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right? And your first class may be 9 in the morning, but your next one's not until 1 in the afternoon. So that doesn't mean that you go back home and get in the bed, right, to take a nap, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to sleep through that next class, right? So being able to manage your time, if you're ready to say, hey, yes, I'm ready to leave home because, one, I'm going to an institution that has my major, right, that I have an interest in, right? And then that I also see myself a part of that campus community. I'm not just going up there for the wrong reasons, just to get away, right? Or, hey, for the sake of saying, hi, I'm going to this school. I'm on, campus, but I'm not on campus. I know where all the happenings are, right? I know where all the get-togethers, I know where all the parties are, right? But my credits aren't accumulating. Okay, so that's the person that goes away and then gets put on academic probation because the academics weren't the first thing, the priority, right? The hanging out, the being away, the being I'm free. Now, right? Listen, everybody, this adult stuff is overrated. Don't be rushing, okay? Slow down, all right? Take your time, enjoy this stuff, okay? Because the minute you're like, hey, no, I'm an adult, just because you're 18 years old, it's more to that, all right? This is a time where I think, one, you need to start, yes, thinking and preparing yourself for the future, but also growing, figuring some things out, like you don't want to say you got it all figured out. Because when it comes time for you to have it figured out and you don't, it becomes a problem. You usually run back to who? Mom or dad, right? Home, where you were trying to run away from. Okay, so go away for the right reasons, right? Go visit that campus. Put your feet on the ground. Like I said, you may be a part of that community, not just for the next 4 years, but for the rest of your life. I always tell people, 2 of my best friends are not from Philadelphia. They came here, we met because one went to Temple and the other went to Drexel. And we met through mutual friends. Well, guess what? They ended up setting up shop here, getting careers, starting families, right? They didn't go back home in New York City where they were from. So a lot of times, guys, you may end up actually living where you decided to go to school. So you definitely just want to go and be able to put your feet on the ground, I think, kind of picture yourself in this community. Okay, but go for the right reasons, because guess what? It's just how it is, how it's been every December, when them grades hit after the fall semester, I always get these emails, with the Bloomsburg, but I'm on academic probation. So they said I gotta get 12 credits from community college. Oh, so that means you went up there, right? And you went up for all the wrong reasons. One of the things that I say to students again is wherever you go, whether it's CCP, Temple, IUP, University of Michigan, when you get on that campus, find your resources, okay? Because some of you, accumulating all that debt, exactly. Well, find your especially if you're going to some of these Drexels, these schools, it's $50,000, $60,000+ a year. Find your resources, okay? And know where your support is, because you paid for that, all right? And you're a full-time student. I showed you guys a schedule of 12 credits, right? Those credits really stand for hours, okay? So that means you'll have 12 hours of instruction a week. But that's not a full-time job, right? But this is the thinking. For every hour of instruction, you should be studying 2 hours outside of class, right? So if I'm in class getting actual instruction 12 hours, and then outside I'm studying 24, when you're married to 2, that's 36 hours, right? So it's almost, people say full-time job, 37 and a half, 40 hours a week. Who knows, some people may want you to work more. But again, that's usually the hours for you to be considered full-time, right? So that's what makes you a full-time student. So when you go away to school, this is one thing that I learned a semester late, and guess where I learned it? From one of my counselors there, is he just asked me a simple question. He said, "What's your occupation?" And I looked at him like he was crazy. I'm like, "What are you talking about? I don't have a job." Now he says, "What's your occupation?" And again, I'm looking at him like, I don't know what you're talking about. He says, "You're a full-time student. So why aren't you working full-time? Why are you working part of the time? You're only working when you go to class. Because when you don't go to class, you're in the student center playing video games and pool, right? So, I'm hooky and work." Well, you wouldn't do that if you were on even if you worked at the local CVS, right? If your shift was from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., right? You're working that shift, right? You're not going away, goofing off somewhere, right? For a couple hours. So if you're a full-time student, you treat it like a full-time job. You sit down, you have defined classes at certain times that's already built into your schedule, right? So if that first class is at 9 and it's over at 10, and then the next one doesn't start till 1, okay, between 10 and 1, that's crucial study time. That's review, okay? Because you're still at work. Even though you may not physically be sitting you're at work, you're on the clock. You get up every day like you're on the clock. So you set up a schedule that's going to keep you focused. It's being done for you already, right? When you get your roster in the beginning of the year, you're set. You know where to go at the first, second, third, fourth. You know what you have. Well, in college, you have to fill in those other blanks that aren't already defined for you. So that outside of class time has to become just as crucial as if you were sitting in front of your professor or sitting in a classroom. So you map out your day, okay, to be a full-time schedule. And guess what? You'll just be like any other worker, right? You'll be getting off at 4 or 5 o'clock. And the rest of the day is to you, right? You don't have to worry about cramming to go, oh, that 20-page paper is due tomorrow. That research paper is due tomorrow. I'm just getting to it. No, you're not pulling all-nighters in the library, right? You're not sitting up at your computer, right? Trying to piece together, you may be cutting and pasting something and you turn in, and that's what you get, right? The grades that you get usually reflects the work that you put into it. So time management in college is very important, but also everybody leaving for the right reasons, okay? I'm a proponent of, students, some people need to get away. Again, CCP to me is a place where I believe a majority of young folks should start, because it can help give them that sense of responsibility, and also that, to be able to learn how to, manage things a little better. That takes time, just like with anything else. But again, you being able to grow, okay, and sometimes figure things out on your own is invaluable, because your mom and dad or auntie or your sister, big brother, cousin, whoever, that support system, sometimes you have to figure some things out on your own, okay? And a lot of times when you don't have that crutch, it's like right there near you, right? I went to school at Millersville, one of the state schools, okay? Not far from Philly, but far enough, right? To where, yeah, I figured it out, okay? And part of figuring that out too was, okay, I know I got to keep some money in my pocket, so I did work study, right? Hey, I built that into my schedule, right? If I knew I'm doing class stuff right here, all right, I could do work study in the evening. I had the best work study gig. I used to referee intramural games. So that was the best. Hey, but I got a little bit of money, right? Summertime, I went out, I got a job in the community, right? At the local hospital, Lancaster General Hospital. Again, figuring it out, okay? But all in the sense of knowing that I'm a full-time student, that's my occupation, right? That's where I dedicate everything to, not my part-time job. Because even though I still had a part-time job, the part-time job became secondary to the full-time job, right? Because the full-time job is what's going to give you that springboard for you to be able to go into whatever, endeavor that you may be looking for down the road. So whether it's preparing you to go into a career field or preparing you for additional education for that career that you may want to go into. Again, go away for the right reasons, okay? Because if this is just my experience, guys, it never fails, right? Right before Christmas, those grades hit, okay? That fall semester is usually over the week before Christmas, and then like a couple of days before Christmas, you get those grades in the mail. And sometimes, I'm getting it from students who can't go back to campus because they're on academic probation, okay, because they went for the wrong reasons. And now you've wasted time, money, okay, because guess what? You going up to Bloomsburg wasn't free, okay? Remember that Pell Grant that I showed you, right? That I described to you, how you get the maximum amount of that could cover you at CCP as well? Well, guess what? That's the maximum amount of the Pell Grant that you're going to get. So if your tuition is 30 grand and you still only get that 6, there's a gap. You got to fill in that gap. Most times that turns out to be student loan money. Oh, those loans go in your name, by the way, not mom and dad's. Okay? So again, just some food for thought, but that's why I say start this process now, everyone, okay? And leave home for the right reasons, right? Most times when you want to leave home, you don't want to return, right? Because most times when you left home and you did it the right way, as I say, hey, now I graduated, I got that job, I can move into my first apartment, right? I don't have to move back into my childhood bedroom, right? So, you know, think things through. You know, there are a lot of options. Make the best decision for you, not your boyfriend, not your girlfriend, not your best friend, not your homie, not your dog, all of the above. Make the best decision for you, okay? Because you should not follow someone to a school and that school does not have what you are looking for. Don't follow your boyfriend or your girlfriend to some college or university because that's your boyfriend and your girlfriend. And we going together. Y'all ain't gonna be together 3 weeks into the semester. I just seen it happen. I don't know how. I'm just giving you my experiences, but not just my experiences, experiences from other students in working in higher education for 15 plus years.
Yeah.
All right. So think about that, guys.
That's good
Go
stuff.
home, go away for the right reason.
Yeah. And I just want to say, I want to say thank you. That was good stuff, and stuff that doesn't get talked about enough. We're getting ready to end. Just thank you for giving me a couple minutes. I just want to say two things. First of all, if you're in a position where you're trying to leave home, and that's your reason for going away to college, please reach out to someone at JFCS so we can get you the supports that you need to maybe help you find some kind of a way, a compromise in that situation. Maybe there's a way we can find for you to be able to come out of a situation that might not be so good at home, but still be able to attend like CCP. So if that's your
a different situation, guys. Now,
yeah,
you
please
know,
reach
again,
out to JFCS. Please reach
yeah,
out and we'll be
please
able to
do
help
that.
you. Yeah.
Right. If that's that situation, if home is not, you know, safe. I'm just talking from the perspective of students who just want to go home just for the sake of thinking that they're ready to be on their own. But yeah, if you're in an environment that's not conducive to you being in there, please reach out.
Yeah,
Please reach
definitely.
out and do that. So yeah.